name's Kent Keltz, and I collect hot rods. I got started in collecting hot rods probably back when I was very young. There was 4 of us boys in our family, and I had an older brother that has since passed away. And we loved engines, we loved scooters, whatever we could get our hands on to try to build something with it, we would do it. And eventually, as we all become of age, cars became a part of our picture. That was a love that all 4 of us would still have today. My oldest brother, Daryl, he was kind of my idol when I was younger as a kid growing up, and he has passed away a few years ago. He's the guy, I guess, that got the car first when he turned 16, and I was the guy that snuck out there and took his car for a ride when he wasn't looking. When my oldest brother got his first motor scooter, again, I was out there wanting to ride with him and so forth. Well, he had a paper route, so I used to get up every morning with Daryl at 5 o'clock in the morning and roll his papers so that I could get on the back of the scooter to ride with him, just because I was so intrigued in the scooters and that sort of thing. Collecting hot rods has probably affected all 4 of us. I think I can speak for all of us. It's an enjoyment to get in a car like that and ride and go somewhere and see other people that want to comment or talk to you about your car. And that goes from the spectrum from young to old. I love it when I see a future hot rodder that's 6, 7, 8 years old, wants to see your car and wants his dad to take a picture of you. Then there's the other side of it when you pull up to a traffic light and there's an elderly lady sitting next to you and she's motioning to you to crank your window down, and you do, and she says, "That's the exact car my husband took me on our first day. And it's a shame," she says, "but it didn't have a back seat." So there's all kinds of characters out there, and it makes me feel good, kind of reliving your childhood and then making other people as happy as well. The number of cars that my 2 remaining brothers and myself still have is probably around 12, and that changes from time to time because we are buying or selling. If something really catches our eye that we just have to have, we'll purchase it and then sell something else to keep the room here in the garage. My most treasured hot rod is probably my 1926 Model T. In 1926, this car was built with a real tall top on it for just a couple years, and it was considered a vehicle for the doctors to use. In those days, the doctors wore very large top hats and did house calls. So with that in mind, the tall T, or the high top on that Model T, would allow the doctor to do his country visits with his hat on yet. Some 20 years ago, I was going to a class reunion, and a friend of mine came into town and brought 2 Cushman scooters into town, and that brought back memories that I just had forgot about. So he invited me to go for a ride in them, and just the first time we started, went up and heard that old noise again. It was just, childhood again. And I went riding with him, and when we finished the ride, I knew I had to get one. And I had to travel all the way to Denver to get an old Cushman. But I think it was worth it, and I still have that Cushman today, and it's one I'll never sell. It'll go to my son or my daughter. What I'm eventually planning on doing with these cars and my brothers, I'm sorry to say, but it might be up to somebody else, because our hot rod crowds are all getting older. I would think that we're going to drive them until we're a ripe old age, but somewhere along the line we're going to be selling them off one by one, because it does become a real job here just to keep all these cars running, just to check things like tires and batteries, running them every week. It's a lot of work, so eventually we'll start selling them one by one.